Okay, we are live. Y'all, This Is Us has done it yet again.
Yeah.
They've done it yet again.
Every
Okay,
time.
every single time.
Every
Thank you for
time.
joining us. This is the Right Perspective podcast. You know, we are a podcast that reviews classic television shows and movies. And we've decided to review This Is Us right now. Okay? Because we are 100% confident that it will be a classic. There's no doubt in our minds. And tonight's episode, season 5, episode 7, called There, has just reinforced our conclusion, bro and sis. Would you agree?
Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, I,
Do a quick intro, bro and sis. I'm just do the intros real quick, bro.
I am Aubrey Wright. I'm the oldest.
I'm Janiyah Wright. I'm the middle.
Hey, I'm Brittany Wright. I'm the youngest.
Sorry, I cut
But,
you off, bro.
well, I think I may have made this reference before, but it just, in my mind, it just makes me think about the Michael Jordan documentary when all the players were talking about how you would know what he was trying to do and it just didn't matter. Like, and it's like, they're trying to do something, you know, but it just doesn't matter because I'm going to tell you, I was convinced Kevin was in an accident and
And
they
they kept
kept
baiting us
doing
the
it
whole
over
time.
and over and over. And then the crazy thing is it was still a crisis, but it just wasn't the crisis you thought.
That's
But it's
right.
like as soon as I realized, like, oh, so this isn't a car accident crisis, but he dropped his wallet. That might be a problem at the airport. So even when they relieved you, they kept you on edge.
They kept you on edge.
It's amazing.
So after we found out why the wallet was on the ground, we still could not relax our minds. Not even for a second.
Not
Rachel
even-
said, "Can we play the How Does Kevin Make It in Time game?"
Right. Right. And did you see how torn he was? Okay, let me just ask y'all straight up. Would y'all have stopped and helped that man?
Yeah.
If you saw a car off on the side, no cell phone reception. So if you don't have reception, whoever's in the car don't. It's a deserted road. There's no traffic. It's on you. You really have two options. One option is to go and help.
Yeah, I mean,
A second option is to drive until you get reception and then send for help.
that is the only thing that would even, because you don't know necessarily which is the better option, because you might not be able to help down there. But I think I would have to at least, I would have to go check at least, and then, you know, because you could do both. But the point is, we're about to get off on the tangent. I'm just saying.
What would you have, sis? What would you have done?
Well, I've actually been in that circumstance. I was driving from Tennessee.
If somebody was off the
Not
road,
Tennessee, Mississippi to Alabama, and I was driving and I saw the car like down in the ravine, and I knew I couldn't get to it. But what I did was, I can't remember if I kept driving, but I kind of I went slower, or if I pulled off. I can't remember, but I remember calling 911, and it actually was a car that was from a past accident, and so they knew about everything that had happened, and it's just a matter of them getting the car out of there.
Yeah.
So that was my experience in a circumstance like this. So, and in his case, I just think about putting bad energy out there. Would you have wanted someone to fly by your family? And the answer is no. If you're the only one to help, this car is on fire. But the one thing I did was concerned about, when someone is in an accident like that,
you're not supposed to move them.
You're not supposed to move them. And so that was my concern as well. Like, he could have caused damage by moving this man the wrong way. But in the same breath, either I move you the wrong way and maybe you can't use a limb, or your whole body's going to burn up. So
exactly.
One of the two. I'm gonna have to do one of the
I
two.
mean,
So
burning to death is got to be horrible. So I
let
will hope
me
some.
let me get you out this car.
I will hope somebody would at least come check.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
So
Yeah.
then
that's what
like,
I was
and
thinking.
maybe like then if you realize, but anyway, point is that they
It was a
when,
tough situation.
and it was a situation that even though it was obviously a plot, you know, but life happens like that.
Yeah, it
Life
does.
really does. It's like, you know, sometimes like when it's like one thing happens and it's just that domino of
Yeah.
just, you know.
Rachel said, I don't think I could be much help. So I would have noted the mile marker and drove on to reception. Hey Maurice. Hey Rachel Maurice. Maurice said what I missed.
Hey, Rachel. Hey, Maurice.
Mar-
You know
Maurice,
what?
we're up here talking about
I,
this accident. We're talking about this accident, Maurice.
you know what? I feel like in a blink, in a split second, my reaction would have been do whatever I could to get help. I don't know that I would have immediately tried to do it myself. I think I probably would have started speeding till I got reception or something. But it's like I don't have great upper body strength. You know, you're not supposed to move a person that like I feel like I would have talked myself out of trying to do it.
But I think the reason why they had the car on fire is because
But he
that's what
wasn't on fire at first. It started flaming after he was down there. Don't you remember? Isn't that what happened? Oh, it was
I think it
already
was
on
already
fire.
on fire.
because
Oh,
I
so he
think
had to. It
that's
removed that.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like because if it
They
wasn't on
removed that.
fire, if it
That's
wasn't on
different.
fire, you could
Oh, well, that
justify.
changes what I just
Yeah,
said. Okay, got it.
it's just like
Oh man.
Maurice said, "Oh, you just leaving folks to die?"
No,
no
I'm
help.
just saying I've been working on my triceps and biceps, but
He said his Rick.
I
Said
don't feel
his Rick
confident in
James
my
voice.
ability.
He said his
Janai,
Rick
I
James
know you
voice.
could have,
Cold-blooded.
Janai,
My
you could have got that.
CPR certification has been expired for years. I
You coulda
don't
got it.
remember how to do it.
You could have got it.
But yeah, but if that car was, but if it was, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I don't know. I think in that moment, my instinct probably would have been to help.
But
you
I
know
mean,
what?
but the thing is that, and I love how like that was just a split second, but when they went back 2 generations to explain why he made the decision in the split
Exactly.
second, and that's why the story was so multi-layered because
Yes.
you know Kevin's acting in a way in response to his father, who was acting in a way in response to his father, which all led up to,
Yeah.
hey, just in case you weren't thinking that's what it was, Kevin just had to put the punctuation on it, like my dad would have did it.
But I was so happy he said that. I was so happy
Me
that he
too.
said
That's what I'm
he
saying. Like,
said my dad would have saved the man and made it to the birth. I was happy he said that
But
because I was worried that he would have only said he would have been putting pressure on him just to get to the birth.
right.
You know, but it was just so funny how he had this version of his dad that would have just got it all done. You
And
know?
and that's
I
how it is.
appreciate that.
I mean,
What
that's
you
how it
say,
is.
sis?
No, I was gonna say I appreciate that, but I also see how we can dismiss people's humanness and how in his mind his dad is a superhero, which you want that for your kids, right? You want your kids to think that you can do anything. But then as you get older, those things are, dispelled. Like there were mess ups, there were missteps.
Yep.
And so to have that pressure of perfection on you, that's not healthy. Um to be like that. And so it just makes me think about a time I was talking to a counselor and we were just talking about something and she was just saying how what if this thing was enough for this person from the past? And so just thinking about what are you projecting on yourself from the past, this perfection you have in your mind, when really at the root of it, Kev is just a people pleaser. He's a people pleaser to the people he thinks are the most important, and he is concerned. There are certain people he's concerned the most about their judgment. So, but also, of course, he doesn't want to miss the birth of his babies. Which, let me tell you, when he told that man, "I got to go," I tweeted and I said, "I've never been so more proud of you, Kev. I've never been more proud of you." And all I can think to myself is Robert De Niro doesn't understand that. Well, I don't know what his family life is like. So that's
Am
all I
I a
was
bad
thinking.
person? Because my thought was he could have just done that 7 hours. I am a bad person. Because
I don't
No,
think
I
that
mean,
you're a bad
I'm
person,
like, do
but I
your
think
7 hours and then go. Because that was an
no,
accommodation. And I honestly thought that was a reasonable accommodation to say, listen, your children are being born right now. We're going to fast track everything and get you out of here in 7 hours. I thought that was a very reasonable accommodation considering, think about how we're talking about dozens, maybe hundreds of people. We don't know how big this set was. This is at least dozens of people who have been coordinated to get to this. And even though Kevin is experiencing something, so is everybody else.
well,
Everybody else has stuff too. And we all did what we had to do to get there. That's what I would be thinking if I was on the crew. I don't know. I don't
well,
know.
yeah.
well, 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 I would say
I
that
don't know.
I
I
would
think he could
say
have done the day.
I would say that Kevin is in a very interesting position because he is navigating with a person who is not well all the way, right? So like he's dealing with um it's a very delicate situation. But not only just with that, he's talking about himself too. You know what I mean? So it's like he was racing there not only just for her, even though it was primarily for her, but within it being for her and for his family, it was also for him. Because I mean, he's just telling the girl, like, look, I'm going to like, I can't take that. I can't take not being with my kids. Um,
I
that
couldn't
was
understand why he didn't charter a jet. I was like, Kev, I feel like you have enough money to do that for this one trip, to
I
just
don't know if
charter a
it's
jet
that
out of
fast.
Vancouver.
I don't think it's that fast. I don't think they're all the jets are just sitting there. Don't like I
But
feel like it was
if it's
like
an
two
hour
hours to
trip,
get. Yeah, you're right. It would be faster on
I
in
mean,
some
I
way.
like,
mean, I that part I could get past. What was difficult is we've all dealt with TSA, but he would have got through TSA. I mean, like, you're not
Well,
stopping.
TSA has methodologies that they can use if you have TSA pre-check. They have other ways of validating your identity. I
I mean,
actually have
but
experienced it.
mm,
I
and what?
experienced it, and it now again it takes it doesn't take days. It'll take
Yeah.
maybe an hour or two, but they can't.
Well,
If you're in TSA pre-check, they can validate your identity without your ID.
I'm saying
It's a process.
I've never heard the story of the actor or famous person getting turned away from the
Yeah,
airport.
he just
Like,
needed to take his mask down.
yeah,
He
I
would have been
mean,
like,
like
Manny.
for 2 seconds,
yeah.
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that's
and
all he
like,
needed.
because even if she didn't recognize him, as soon as he said that, like, I mean, think about that. I mean,
yeah.
who's gonna? So
Who's
that
his equivalent in real life? Him, that
him,
actor.
right? Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Him
that
as
actor.
himself.
Exactly.
Yeah, him
Him
as
Yeah.
as
himself.
So
himself.
that
He would have
Like,
had no
but
problem
you know what?
getting onto that flight.
I give him okay. I let it slide because I'm just gonna assume. Now I'm gonna tell you what they did nail was the TSA agent.
Knocked it
'Cause
out of the park.
that
she did well.
I felt
Out of my
like
She
hands.
did
That's what
that
it
very
was
is.
well.
that was exactly
Out of
how it
my
would have been.
hands.
But
Now,
but I'm
listen,
gonna
I don't
tell
know how
can
they
can I
get
say
down
this
in
one thing though?
Vancouver. I was like, that's an Atlanta TSA. Hold on. In Vancouver. I said,
They were in Seattle. He
They
was
were in
in
Seattle
Seattle.
at that point
okay.
because he drove over the border. All right, look, can I tell y'all this? I'm gonna tell you. You know, I really don't like getting emotional watching TV, but they got me close tonight, boy. with that Madison conversation.
Oh,
Man, she was playing that scene, Jack. I
she really
mean,
was.
like I was, I was just like, "What are you doing to me right now?" Because
She was
she
alone.
was,
She had no one to call.
and just to see her able to express that array of emotion in her face, and when she was just like was saying with her emotion, like, "Yes, please stay on this phone call."
Oh,
I think because it's funny to go back to the very beginning when we found out that Madison was pregnant. And she was basically like, listen, you don't have to be in these children life. I'm fine. I get it done. And
which
it's like
which I believe, which she would have, which she
and
would have.
I just want to let you know, point blank period. I just want to let you know I'm pregnant. Do what you want to do. I'm keeping them. And so to see her in a spot, this same woman being vulnerable in that way to say, oh my God, I am alone.
Mm.
Listen, and then that's with two babies on the way.
Whoop,
That's not just one baby, that is two babies on the way.
it's a lot.
But then also, this is very understanding and very telling. I'm happy that this kind of happened around the pandemic because there's so many people that have been having to experience things in hospitals by themselves because you're not allowed an extra person in the room. If unless you're like incapacitated or something like that, or you're like a minor or something, or really elderly, like you have to be by yourself because of the virus. And so just to be able to see that moment, but then also a shout out to technology, making things closer for people, having that cell phone, having them, of course, you've seen on the preview, the FaceTime, stuff like that. But just being able to have that technology, I think is huge. I want to say that Maurice said, damn, that's all deep. And I surely have wanted Jack as my dad since season one, but he replaced Cosby because, well, And then, and
look,
then Rachel
look.
said, Rachel said, while work is important and family always comes first.
Mm.
And then she said, I think she said, oh, and I think the random man on the side of the road is helping him get home somehow. She feels like that's going to be part of Kevin getting home.
Yeah.
And Vince said no TSA for flying private, so he wouldn't have to worry about TSA if he would have got a
Right.
private jet.
And listen, the guy that was playing the guy in the car accident, that's a well-known actor. I can't think of his name to save my life. He was in
Listen,
what is
he
his
looked like his
name?
grandfather to me when his grandfather was younger.
No,
I was
he
like, I'm
was
sorry,
from
is that his grandfather?
he was in Scandal.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's
I
his
don't know. I
name?
don't.
Because
Paul.
if he asks Rachel Maurice,
You're the
y'all know his name.
you're the one who
Let me
looks
But
that
let
stuff.
me see.
his name is Susan.
Yeah, all right. I've gone to the wrong place for support here. Okay.
I,
Joshua Molina. He played
Listen.
David Rosen
in
in
Scandal.
Scandal. So listen, we already know they're not going to bring in no Joshua Molina for just that moment. He's got a more significant role. And in fact, whatever role he's in, it's going to be a role that requires a depth of emotion. And I would say at least two more episodes because we're talking
Mm.
about Joshua Molina. Okay.
Mm.
So I feel like either he is somebody who maybe is in the industry, maybe because what he said was, man, life is funny.
He
He
did,
did
That's
and
say
what
he
he
that.
never
said.
finished that thought.
He
He
did say
never
that.
finished that thought.
He did
It's
say
like, is
that.
it
Mm.
just funny because this is a random celebrity that saved me, or was it funny because he had already had a connection to Kevin, or he was trying to cast the movie? There's something with that Joshua Molina.
Because Joshua Molina was probably on his way to go to the Vancouver shoot.
What?
I
What if
bet you
he
that's what's
was?
happening.
What if he
Jo-
was?
I bet he was.
Mm-hmm. Now, here's the other thing I have to say. He could also just be a person who's going to somehow, like maybe he's going to go to the media and say, the Manny saved my life or something, so maybe
Well,
it's not
listen.
a
Let me
connection to the
look.
industry.
All I
Maybe it's something else, but he's going to have 2 or 3 episodes,
That's
just so y'all
Madison's
know.
long lost
all.
father.
Right? Something. It's gonna be something good.
Lord.
We can trust him. We
Lord.
know it's gonna be good.
It's gonna
That
be
we do know.
good.
That we but I've given up I've given up trying to I've given up trying to make predictions, man, because
But y'all,
it's just so it's just such a futile
you can't
situation.
predict them.
I mean, because I like I'm gonna tell you, even though they teased it like 4 times, I still, until Kevin pulled up, thought he was about to get into an
Listen,
accident.
especially that last time when he was like going in to direct
Yes,
traffic. I said, well, here
yes.
it is. Kevin's about to swerve off the road. And he
And
wasn't.
look, can I
He
also
didn't.
say this about the show? We know Kevin's okay. We know he's
We've seen the
okay.
future.
And we're still on the edge of our seat.
Very
How
edge.
do you do that?
Why?
Very edge.
How?
And and y'all, there was something that the father that Jack said as an adult to young Kevin that we just got to talk about. Where he was talking about, and this is with this show, it's like if I was a person that was good at Twitter and like used it regularly and faithfully, I would have tweeted about it, but I'm not. That's just not who I am. That's not how I'm showing up in life right now. But he said something about like the complexity of understanding your parents. He was talking about, listen, he was like, yeah, my dad was a complete jerk when I was younger as it related to my little league experience, but he wasn't all bad. He said he wasn't all bad. And part of growing up is having to understand your parents fully and in their complexity. And that's a paraphrase. But and he was like, even long after your parents are gone, they're still with you and you're still grappling with that complexity. And
That's
I
what
was
Brittany
just
was talking
so
about.
I was so happy when he said that
Yeah.
because I was like, this is exactly what it is. You grow up and you realize it is not just parents, it's family. You grow up and you realize that your relationships to family, they're always going to be so complex. People that you might not be compatible with in life, you are connected to by DNA. And regardless of your relationship with them, positive, negative, complex, simple, it exists. And you can deny it if you want, but it's there. It's there. And anyways, I just thought the father having that kind of conversation with his son at that like early teen phase, I just thought that's exactly the kind of time we need to be talking with young people about this. We need to start introducing these conversations about complexity of relationship while people are in their teen years, because you figure it out too late. You spend your time judging and trying in the book by the cover. Start getting into the complexity. This is the takeaway. Understand relationships are complex, people are complex. You can't judge people by a moment, and you can't judge them by an action, and you can't judge them by one way that they've interacted in your life. So that was tweetable. I'm sure people tweeted about it who use Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. I
Rachel
mean,
said the line, "You are going to be a better father than me."
Oh, another good one. Another good one. Oh, and then just little Kevin
man, that
reassuring his dad, "You're already better than your father." And then he said, "You're going to be better than me." So good.
incremental steps.
Thank you for pointing that out, Rachel. Mm.
Can't
Incremental.
I can't imagine driving my drunk father home from my baseball game. People go through a lot that we
Yeah.
don't know about.
You don't know.
Man, you don't know, man.
People go through so much that you just don't know about. And then for him having to be a wise little kid at his little league game, Dad, let's just stay for a little bit.
Why do we hang out?
He's like, you think I can't drive? Well, you dropping keys, sir. So I don't think you can. So
And even that scene, there's no weak points on this show, man. Like as far as actors,
No.
everybody's
I mean, as you all know,
good,
with
man.
Kevin, adult Kevin, I have moments where I'm like, but
But that's how he's supposed to be. That's the point.
Yeah.
That is the point. That's exactly that's what we're saying. We're having a person who's very shallow, constantly dealing with their identity issues. That's how you're supposed to feel.
Oh, they're doing that on
about
purpose.
it.
Got it. Okay. See, you can't doubt the show. Takeaway
But,
number 2. Don't doubt the show. Don't
Yeah,
doubt
we're
the
not.
show.
When in doubt,
Believe it. It's correct. Go with it.
no, it was a smart decision.
Ah! And then, well, how funny was it when it was Miguel and the mom trying to find the flights? I was laughing
Listen.
because I was like, if we had to call our mom, look, you in Vancouver, because you ain't going nowhere if you call Veronica.
I hope wherever the part of California you got to go to is 5 minutes away, because you are not getting there. Listen,
That's so funny.
she would have been calling.
You would have been in trouble.
This is a little nugget for our 3 right perspective participants tonight. this is a little nugget. Just to put this into context, our mother mailed me her cell phone so I could put an SD card in it.
Enough said. I think that sums it up.
We are where we are.
I think that sums it up.
Tracy Sheffy said, "Y'all better leave Veronica alone." Sister Tracy, we love her.
That's funny. That's funny because she gets it. Even though she's coming in defense. That's why that's funny.
Right.
That's why.
And you know what, though? But this is back to what Jack was talking about, because it's complex. It's very complex. Because our mom is good at so many things.
Hey, look,
there are also things that are not in her wheelhouse.
And I happily put the SD card in.
Yeah,
I happily put the SD card in and mailed it back.
Didn't you?
Yeah, she's gonna get it tomorrow.
Yeah. And my favorite move of my mom's is like, calls me on the phone. Janiyah, text your brother, and not only did you ask me to do something that you could do for yourself, because you do know how to do it, but you want to now dictate to me what to type and want to pause and wait while I type. Did you type it? What? Yeah, that's a lot of nerve, lady.
Point is that
Sister
the point is
I love her
we'd have all been in Vancouver. That's the point.
That's the point.
Man,
Missing
talk about
those babies.
Girl, Madison FaceTime me, girl.
You ain't seeing those babies. Oh my gosh. And y'all, the birth mother is being induced for Kate and Toby.
Yeah.
Was that 9 months, or was that was like 1 month? Like,
I feel like they met her when she was far into the baby.
Oh, she was far into it. Okay, because I'm like,
when in doubt,
believe the show.
To believe that the show made.
Did you see I slipped again?
I don't know. There's one part, and I know they're gonna make it connect. Am I shining now?
And they will.
They're gonna make it connect.
What's the whole?
Right now, Jack, the baby, is only gonna be like a year older than the twins. But the twins are like Toby and they're like 2 years older than the twins, right? But if you remember a couple seasons ago, or maybe last season when they did
no. But we don't know how old Jack is yet in that flash forward.
In that part. Because let me tell you something.
We haven't seen him yet.
But see, here's the thing. Jack goes to see his sister. And part of that scene, like, we need to go see grandma, or he says something that lets you know that he went to his sister, that they're older.
I know,
and I was like, does Kev mess around and have 2 sets of twins?
Well, I'm just saying it could be any of these things, and that's what I'm saying. We can't.
And it could be characters we haven't even met yet.
But I'm just saying,
adopt family members in.
That's the point.
They find people.
But it's just, I think that is something to look out for, but I won't give them a hole on that. And I can't imagine them making that big.
We've come too far.
I
We've
just
come
can't
too
see it.
far.
There's just no way.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you. This is us.
Yeah. Now here's a question. Here's the
Rachel-
last thing I want. I'm sorry. Go ahead, sis.
Rachel said, Kate is going to be in the hospital at the same time, talking about like, are they going to be in the same hospital as Madison? And Maurice said, we had Randall first. Now it's shifted to Kevin and it's interconnected. And the next is Kate's story. Oh, okay. So I wonder how they're going to
Randall was
tie
last
everything in.
episode. Now it's yes. Thank you, Maurice. Now,
Maurice,
So
Kevin,
silly.
fertile AF. Maurice, we're not talking to you no more for the rest of this episode.
Maurice, you're now on punishment for randomness, y'all. But listen, I'm gonna
His phone
ask an
dead.
open
Okay, he's
question,
catching up. Okay.
y'all. How do you think Kevin is going to respond to the fact that Randall was there for Madison when he couldn't be?
I'm not making predictions no more. I'm done. I'm done making
There's
predictions.
really, I mean, he can
It's just-
either be happy my brother was there, which is the name of the episode. He could, like, my dad would have been. He could either be happy, like, oh, I'm so happy Madison wasn't
or
alone.
he could just be like, even this, Randall, even this. I couldn't even get this. I can see him doing that too. So I don't know.
And the way Randall been popping off, no, you couldn't. So I called her.
Right.
Randall been popping off
Yeah,
lately.
that's right,
Listen.
Kevin. You failed. You failed
I was
again,
just
Kevin.
I just was in the middle
No,
of the
Randall
lake
would be
screaming.
like, you
I was in the middle.
failed.
I was in the middle
But
of
you
the
know-
lake screaming with my dead ghost mama. I can do whatever I want now.
y'all are
can do
talking
whatever I
about
want.
pre-revelation Randall. I believe that
Can I tell
post-revelation
you
Randall
that-
might be a
Can I
little
t-
bit more calm.
Can I tell you, I love hearing you talk slang, Janai. It's like, even when you say y'all, it sounds like perfect English. Y'all, I
Y'all,
love it.
can I just say something? We just
Liza
watched.
Doolittle.
I was just gonna say, Aubrey was making a loaded comment, and y'all
Actually,
didn't
I
know that
wasn't,
just
but
happened.
I
because
wasn't,
Brittany
but-
caught it. Brittany
I
caught
did.
it
I wish I was that smart. That would have been good, but I'm not.
because
I'm not.
on our podcast we just did a
Dun, dun, dun.
review of Pygmalion and My Fair Lady. It's a good one, y'all. Y'all got to check it out. But in that one, we talked about that scene in My Fair Lady where Eliza Doolittle is like really having excellent diction, but her grammar and her word choices are completely, it's awful.
Nobody knows what
It's
you're talking
so
about.
bad. People know My Fair Lady. They
I
don't
don't
know
think
it.
so. I don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay,
That's-
well, watch it. Then
That's
listen
why
to the podcast.
that's why we all. All right.
People
So
don't know.
anyway,
All right.
that's it.
But
So we
I
good?
think we should make predictions of something. I think we should predict how
You two
Kevin is
predict.
gonna react.
I'm tired of. I've never been right.
Let's do a
I-
prediction and then we can wrap. We need
It's
the
a
right
prediction.
I can't anymore.
I'm gonna
It's just-
predict that Kevin does not take it well, and
okay.
that he does not take it well that Randall was there for Madison.
What about you, Brett?
I predict that Kevin is going to make it to the birth of the babies. He's going to
Oh.
walk right in as the phone call is happening. And he's going to be thankful that Randall was able to talk to Madison, because it was Randall and Beth, and that he realizes you can't do this alone. Like you can't be in this alone. You have to have people.
Mm.
Because he's evolving. He's growing. Kevin
And
is
you know,
growing.
if it's a video call, they can have as many people on there as they want.
Listen,
The
and
mom and
Kevin
Gail could be on there. Kate could be on
Yes.
there.
and Kevin is growing in a way because in the past Kevin has chose himself,
Mm.
and now he is choosing other people. He's
Ooh,
choosing
sis.
Madison.
Mm.
So I think that Kevin is not going to be mad.
Good. Very good.
Because all that Kevin has put Randall through, Randall did not have to call Madison. Hello.
Hello,
Let's be clear.
bro. What's your prediction? Can you predict on one of these topics?
No,
Can you predict on the reaction?
I'm sorry.
Can
No,
you predict
hey,
on his presence at the birth?
Listen, I'm done because I normally would be hornswoggled into doing this. I understand.
First of all, spell it and define it.
I understand. I would normally be Jedi mind tricked. Little sister mind tricked.
Every party has the poop, but that's why we invited you.
But
Aubrey Wright, that's you.
Look, it's just so it's so pointless to try to predict the show. Like I've tried for so many years.
Well, you know what? I think that on behalf of all the viewers, we're disappointed. All right, well, that's the right perspective, everyone.
George Bongs, that's you.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been The Right Perspective. Check us out on all podcast platforms and YouTube. Bye.
Bye.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
great night.
Thank you.